Good evening, everyone. So, first and foremost, this is my recap from my trip in Ghana. As I told you guys, we're going to go through some of the same things, some of the same segments that are broken up in some of my shorter videos, but we're going to go of some of the pictures and as well as video clips. Some we're going to play in their entirety and some we're going to cut short. But nonetheless, we're going to just kind of recap my trip in Ghana. We're going to give some commentary and some good oration here. We're going to talk about some of the things that I experienced and kind of, debunk the whole foolery that Ghana is the Wakanda of what we may think because of certain people's channels and certain people travel. So I take the good and I take with the bad. So these are the things that you need to think about as we're going through some of this. And so without wasting your time, I'm just going to start off with the kind of somewhat the beginning. And I'm going to talk through a couple of things and we'll go from there. Now, this dish right here is like jollof rice and I believe shrimp. And believe it or not, that sauce that you see is kind of smoky and spicy. And it's called shito. Okay, I'm not exaggerating, family. The name of that sauce is called shito, and my wife absolutely loves it. Okay, we're going through some of the pictures here, doing a recap of my trip in Ghana. Now, here's just a recording of us driving from the airport our first day in Ghana, and this is what you see. That's what you're viewing right here. Have you ever been to America? No. So it really gives you a good picture of how this particular part of Accra, which is the capital city of Ghana, is actually built up. Looks like great infrastructure. You see roads, you see markings, you see safety. So it really gives you a good picture, and that's why I wanted to record this piece here, so you guys see how Ghana is as you are, entering the country, so to speak, exiting the airport. All right. Let me move along. Well, everyone, I just touched down into Accra, Ghana at the airport. The airport took like 2 or 3 hours to get out of because once you land, you have to take a COVID-19 test. And it's a rapid test to see if you have COVID-19. That was an additional $150 with the family. And then we're on our way to the Best Western Plus Beach Hotel. We saw a lot of hotels we wanted to stay at, but we like the fact that this hotel was on the beach. Really nice rooms and a comparable price. Not like the beach, not like the Best Westerns back home, but I'll show you the room if it's good or bad, Hey, it's one of those things you see on the internet. But nonetheless, we're here. I'll show you a little bit around here. I'll see if I can spin this. Not really, I can. I'll just... Okay. All right, we're going to move on. This is a picture of my wife and I on Delta. Got a couple of pictures of that. And this is one of the wonderful drinks that one of the stewardess was serving us. And believe me, family, you should definitely go and find this drink here, Peach Bellini. All right, you don't want to see that. Okay, let me exit out of here. I'm showing too much personal stuff here. Give me a second. I'm going the wrong way. All right. Here's some of the Ghanaian money. Okay, five of their CDs, 10 of their CDs. And later on, I got a lot of... Okay, we're going through this again. Hold on. Let me just pick and choose what I'm going to do. Sorry for the confusion, family. But anyway, this is a recap from my trip in Ghana. And I'm showing you some of the things that I experienced, some of the things that we essentially went through. That's what you're looking at right here. So I'm going to go ahead and play this quick video so you guys see this is one of the tours we did. The boundary line over here, that's the forest. So from where we started up to this point is the secondary forest. And here going the primary forest. And excuse me, I know the guy speaks very low. But what I'll do is I'll just let you know that he was just breaking down, okay, what the tour endures. You got to hike up a mountain. You got to do this. You got to do that. And then you'll be going through some canopy bridges that are very small in width, but they're very high in height. I mean, we were probably at least 500 feet off the ground, right? And they say they're so-called inspected every day, but it was a good experience. And I'm going to show you
what I mean by that, okay, because that's one of the other things that we have done. Okay, so let me go right to that. Here's my experience on the bridge from a personal view. So I'll show that.
I don't know what they mean by safe, because you see my fat butt is sweat. Oh, uh-oh. I may not. Yeah, I'm not gonna film no more, because they said it's safe. I don't think so. All right. No, I'm kidding.
So yeah, that's a short video clip right there. And this is another short video clip from a third person view, so to speak.
Cocoon National Park.
And there was a couple in front of me as I was taping, but I wanted really to show off the bridge and how, essentially small it is. And I don't know if you guys can somewhat, gather the height. I know that the picture is somewhat fuzzy. But this is one of the museums, this is one of the national parks we went to when we was in Ghana.
Or anything else, he is not going to get it because it's in the
And
forest.
again, I really want to say that the Ghanaian people are very humble from what I can tell, and very, very nice and inviting. We didn't have, not one bad encounter with a Ghanaian. Okay, so let me get back out of here. I'm still showing you guys some stuff here. Here are some pictures of us going to some sort of a park where you can pet alligators. Okay, and I'm trying to figure out what two videos where one I was extremely afraid, and then later on I came back with the encouragement of my wife to actually touch the alligator. So I'm gonna try to find out the one, and we're gonna look at this. Let me see here. I think one of these are the right one. Okay. And
do you want to touch? Yeah.
Let me speed this up because my son went up there and touched it. My wife, she went right up to it. She went right up to it and touched it. And look at me. This is me.
I can't do it, man. Oh, hey, come get him, man. No.
Look at me.
No.
The biggest dude out there, the scariest one too. I'm looking for other alligators. I'm freaked out. I'm like, hold on, he moved.
Nope, I'm good.
I'm walking like I'm paralyzed and paraplegic. I am absolutely afraid. Okay, that's the one thing you need to take away from here. Like, we're gonna go pet alligators. Why are we petting alligators? Think about that, family. I want you to think about that. Why are we petting alligators? Right, but anyway, that was my experience of that. But I did redeem myself. I believe this is the video that I've redeemed myself. Let me speed this up some. Let me see. I believe this is the video that I redeemed myself in petting an alligator. And these alligators were like 5 feet away from us. They were not far away from us. So I'm trying to find out when I actually pet it. So please bear with me. I thought I had these labels. There I am. Yeah. Nope, that's not me. Nope. That's not me. Let me see. I think I'm.
Oh no, I've been touching.
Okay. My bad. Here's the one I believe that I pet the alligator. Again, to this day, I still don't know why I pet the alligator, but I pet the alligator. For some reason, the internet is running really slow. Good evening, Jermaine Anderson. Nice to see you guys. And guys, this is just a recap of my trip in Ghana, as the video right here is absolutely taking a long time to refresh. But nonetheless, I think it's important to show the both good and the bad. And earlier, I know a lot of you guys just logging on, talked about the infrastructure and what I actually saw coming off the plane. Okay, for some reason, that video is not being played. Now, I'm just going through succession of a lot of my videos I took and experiences that I took. Here's a picture of my family, I, and a friend of the family. We was all together, and this is the door of return. On one side of the door is called the door of no return, and then on the back of it is called the door of return, because they're accepting foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slaves back into the continent, or essentially Ghana. So to me, I like to ask myself, was that a significant picture? It's a memory moment, right? Because at the end of the day, it's symbolism at best, but it's not like we're going to go back and go through those doors and move there. So that's why I say that. So let me move on to something else. This is somewhat the history of Ghana. And this is from the tour guide when we went to the Cape Coast Council. And I'm just going through succession in somewhat of a chronological order of the pictures and clips, video clips that I take when I was in Ghana. So let's look at this.
And renamed it New York.
Right.
The British had a fort in Ghana known as Fort York. The Dutch retaliated. They fought the British here, took over that fort, and also renamed it Fort Amsterdam.
He explaining the history of the enslavement of Africans
all of our shores. You know,
and how the British and Portuguese and Swedish started
each
it
other,
essentially in Ghana.
All for greed.
For the money. All for the money.
And
There
that
is
the fort
written record of an attack on the British here. So we believe they did not even use them. They were
was actually built to store and trade slaves and also war off other enemy combatants of the British.
The tunnel built to connect that large chamber to the sea. It runs beneath us this way. But the entrance behind the shrine has been closed. So we couldn't see how big or deep it is from there. Let's see past the tunnel. The best you can do, stand, stretch your leg.
As the slaves were moving through the tunnels, this is a spot where slave masters, slave catchers, and crackers, right? Because they cracked the whip. This is where they were traveling from shore to the ship or from the ship to storage.
The British took a lot of our gold.
This is Cape Coast Castle.
I mean, today Britain has more gold
in Ghana
than any other country in Africa. I don't know if they mine gold in Britain.
They don't have gold in Britain.
So it's like, where did they get all?
So essentially, what he was saying,
so you guys,
he was breaking down the history and who actually built the castle to hold slave, who essentially the fort was belonging to was Britain at the time. And he also was stating in one of his earlier videos, and I might show that here, how they were having church above where the slaves were actually stored. One key thing, I don't know if I have this on video, excuse me. He said how the Europeans came over and sought some of the warring kingdoms that was in Ghana at the time, because prior to colonization, there wasn't countries like Ghana and this, that, and the other. There were different kingdoms within the Ghana region, right? It wasn't just, so it was warring kingdoms everywhere. So they drew out a map when the colonizers came and picked out a piece of a land and essentially named it. But at the same time, they regioned off certain land the same way they kind of did in America, right? So they had these continental lines in between different countries. So Ghana broken on, because at first it was just a realm in kingdoms. There was no country, there was just kingdoms, kind of like the Mongolian kingdom, right? But they were in China at the time. But this is all after colonization. So that's what you have to understand with a lot of this, information. And he was stating how the Portuguese, and I believe he said the Swedish, built that castle, but the British eventually took it over. So that's significant as well. Okay. So I thought I had another video from him. Oh yeah, the longer videos when we first started off, and I might play a little bit of this one right here. This is the one I refer to. We went into the slave chambers, the slave dungeon, so to speak. Okay, that's where we're going to right now. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit.
That is why the Portuguese took advantage.
We're in the beginning of the slave dungeon.
With the guns, your kingdom or your army becomes more powerful.
I'm gonna speed it up. Okay, so this spot right here is significant, believe it or not, because what he's doing, he's actually explaining that this small room that they had like 2,000 male slaves in the quarters, right? In the quarters, that they would just give them buckets. And of course, over the course of time, how long they were there, he said they were there for weeks, months, sometimes even years, waiting in the slave quarters in this castle in their own country, waiting to be shipped off into slavery. And what he was showing us, they had to come in and shave and shim and sand the ground to get all of the feces that over the course of these hundreds of years stored and compacted. So this one spot they left for history so they can tell the story. And I'm gonna play this, but I mean, whew.
So on this small part of the floor, we see what looks like compressed soil, but it is all decomposed human waste.
Oh wow.
So there is the feces, the food waste of the Africans as they stay here piled up.
Right.
Covering
Hopefully I did a good job recording here because I was trying to get deep
and,
into the video
the whole
and
floor,
how he cordoned off that area
the
of the
place was
feces. And right now we're in one of the storage rooms, okay, that they put almost 2,000 slaves in. And if you see it, hopefully I got a good video of it. Let me see if I can back up just a little bit. I think I got a good view of it here. Sorry to back it up on you guys, but I just want to kind of show you here that this room was very, see how big that room is? I'm where the entrance is right now. So that's how big it is. And they try to fit almost 2,000 people in there. Okay. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. This is a good part right here. Now, what you see first and foremost, family, is he actually practiced, the guy, what you see, one of the priests, the African ancestral spirit. That's kind of the religion, the African religion, not Christianity, not Islamic, none of that. No Hindu, no Buddha, nothing.
During the slave trade,
This will give you context.
Why is a shrine here? It is here because of its historical connection to the land. The local history, before these Europeans came, the ancestors, the Africans in the community had a shrine on this land. So the land was sacred ground for the local people. But when the Europeans came and occupied the place, they prevented the local people from having access.
What was the religion of the Ghanaian people before the Europeans came?
Okay. Our ancestors always believed.
So I don't know if you guys caught that.
But they also believed that there were.
But I asked him, I said, what was the Ghanaian religion prior to colonization? And I'm gonna let it play. I know you guys probably interested in what he said. At least some of you are. But basically, for you guys who just can't handle yourself, he basically said that the African ancestral spirit that they used to worship was people that actually walk the earth. And the stories untold, passed down through history, those spirits are only good people, really good, wholehearted people. And those were the spirits of Africans that essentially developed their religions, that the ancestors were looking over them. Right. And then later, of course, I'm going to show maybe a clip of a video where he talks about how Christianity entered Ghana.
Deities and spirits that also play a major role in the spiritual affairs of humans. They believe in the ancestral spirit, that when a person died, the person is a good person, lived a good life. The spirit stays, and plays a role.
A good person who lived a good life.
Of the family or other people. So we believe that. So that's what. Its general name is the African traditional religion. one thing is that with the African traditional religion, there are similarities when you compare it to like different ethnic towns, but there are also differences as well. You know, one similarity is our ancestors always recognized a supreme being, the creator, always. You know,
Always.
yeah, they categorize
He
God,
said the ancestors, hold on.
and
He said the ancestors always recognized a supreme being. Meaning, even in the African traditional ancestral religion, so to speak, that Ghanaians were worshiping some of the people that actually walked the earth, those same people recognized that there was a supreme being, right? And so you can so-called call the people who walk the earth, quote unquote, saints, if that makes any sense, right? If you can connect the correlation like I am.
also the ancestral spirit. Almost every ethnic group on the continent believe in the ancestral spirit. Yeah. So
So
Christianity,
do Ghanaians know about the previous religion
they know.
before Christianity?
We know. Unfortunately, the Europeans, I won't say use the word brainwash, or they managed to somehow get
They
Ghanaians,
brainwash.
yeah, believe that the religion of our ancestors was bad. You know, they came with all sort of labels, paganism, idol.
Did you hear that? He said they somehow came in with their religion, Christianity, and somehow made the old African ancestors evil, like false gods, so to speak, because of their worship. And even those, it's kind of like in Buddhism. Some people actually worship Buddha himself, right? The actual Homo sapien, the person. They had these Buddha dolls. But if you ever read, like I have, Buddha teachings, Buddha even said in his teachings that there is someone greater than I. So there's always been a recognition of a supreme being. But see, religion contorts, manipulates your mind into whatever the agenda is planned for that particular religion, where they were essentially just worshiping good people and some of the things that they did to be good. Very interesting, family. Very, very interesting.
Or worship and all that. So today, less than 5 people practice the African traditional religion.
Less than
Less than
5%.
about 80% of Ghanaians practice Christianity.
Wow.
Many see the African traditional, the religion of our ancestors, as idol worship, Satan worship,
As idol worship.
you call it whatever. That's how many people view it. Yeah. So even walking into such a space, like someone will have a problem with it. Like, why would you even walk into this space? Satan worship and all kinds of things. So very few Ghanaians still practice the African tradition. Majority,
The Europeans did such a great job. These Ghanaians stopped practicing their own religion and took up Christianity. And also the Islamic faith. Because as history tells us, Arabics were the first enslavers. So that's where you get that Islamic. I digress. But family, you understand what I'm getting at. I'm gonna let him talk maybe a couple more seconds here, and then we're gonna move on because I think the point has been proven here.
I guess everybody want to go to heaven. Hello, brothers. Welcome. You know, so during the slave trade,
So I'm gonna pause it right there, family. This tour guide, we had a really good, conversation throughout this whole ordeal. And this kind of solidified the piece he was talking about, how in Ghana, essentially 80% are Christians, 15% are Muslims, and 5% practiced the old African ancestral religion, meaning praying to the ancestors for them to assist the same way you would pray to Jesus, the same way you would pray to Allah. So I understand. So I think this next video is just as important as the last to make that connection.
The missionaries, they had one major problem, the language barrier. Because the Africans had their own language. So the British, what they did was that they took some African boys from the town to England to train them as missionaries so they could bring them back and use them to preach the local language. One of these boys came back alive, named Kwaku, and Kwaku is the name given to a Wednesday born day among their countrymen. Kwaku was born in the town in 1741, and his father was a direct bishop.
All right. So I believe it's important that you guys caught what he said in the very beginning of the video, that the British took 2 Ghanaians and sent them to England as in practice to be missionaries. They came back and had them to start to preach to the Ghanaians. You know why? Because when they were doing it, it wasn't being effective, right? They needed someone that looked like them to convince them, right? And this still goes on today. I don't even want to get into politics. I don't want to get into white supremacy. But again, we know who are the puppets and we know who are the puppet masters. These is ancient old tactics that white supremacy has used. See, some people go to Ghana for fun, experience, excitement, getting to their roots. I went there to understand. I went there for comprehension. I went there for the history. I went there to see what essentially took place, right? Watching pictures and videos, it's helpful. It gives you context, right? But that real life experience of being on ground and having someone to really explain to you what happened as you're there, there is an energy, there is a sort of aura that occurs around you, and you can kind of picture it a lot better. And some people even feel it. So that's important, right? And that's what he was explaining, the indoctrination of the Ghanaian people with Christianity. See, some of you have heard the term that white supremacy exists and operates in all 9 levels of activity in life, right? I kind of get these 2 gentlemen confused. I believe it was Neely Fuller, and I know that Frances Cress Welsing, she speaks about that as well. Okay, and I'm circling through my pictures here. I'm going to show you some videos as well as some of the quick pics that I have here. Now, this is what I haven't showed you guys so far. These are the pictures that I illegally, no, I'm kidding, that I accidentally took, because I don't want to incriminate myself, that I accidentally took when I was in Ghana. And this is in the Kwame Nkrumah. And I did it for historical reasons, right? I wanted to show this. It says Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is sworn in as the first president of the Republic of Ghana in Accra, 1st of July, 1960. You see that, right? Right. And that's what's occurring right here. So this to me is about history. It's about facts. It's about understanding what's essentially going on. And this is the guy in the white suit, Kwame Nkrumah. Here's some of the pictures here. I know that some of the name tags beneath them are very small. Okay, it says Dr. Kwame Nkrumah released from Fort Prison in Accra. This was in 1951. He was actually in prison before he became president. Here, during some sort of outbreak or little skirmish, his statue head got chopped off. It says the bronze head of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, original statue, was stood in front of the old Parliament House in Accra, vandalized during the February 24th, 1966 military and police coup. Okay, so that's what occurred during that time. And his statue essentially, got decapitated. Here states the original statue of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, which stood in front of the Parliament House. Opposite grounds, Accra attacked by a mob vandalized it. It stands now in the wake of a military with police coup on February 1966. Okay, so these are just some of the pictures we're going to go through. All of this was essentially in his house. Let me go back. I see that the pictures are getting out of order for whatever reason. Let me go to the top here. This will give you context. This is Freedom and Justice. I don't know the actual name of the area. Let's go through these. This is kind of going through the markets. I think we'll look at this real quick. This is the markets.
Okay, it's the same material like this.
This is a buddy of mine, my new Ghanaian friend Eric. He took care of us
What's down
the
here?
entire time we were there.
We are going back.
To the car?
Yeah.
We're done? We're finished?
I said we're done. We're finished because it was a short day. Let me know if you can't hear it. Slight echo. Okay.
If you want to walk around, then you can go inside.
You want to go inside? Yeah, let's go inside.
You're not going to do anything.
There's a lot going on.
Good evening, Brent C. Now, this is one of the markets in Accra. I just want to show you this before we get into the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial area. And this was absolutely bonkers. This was crazy. This was bananas, okay? Because he's taking it through this market, and I'm like, it's so many people out here. And I say, hey, is this just for the weekend? He said, no, this is every day except Sunday. And we were just astonished.
It's a lot of things being sold.
And you
all
can buy
across the
anything on the
market.
street.
Plenty of people. Some people.
And this is the traffic. You see the traffic, right? This is crazy.
Their livelihood of selling their products and things. Oh, wow.
This is traffic,
Some
family.
sort of fender bender. Did he punch that glass out?
Yeah, it's the
Now, me personally,
Oh, wow.
in America, this area would have been cordoned off because this is too much to bear. Like, this is an Americanized ridiculous.
Wow. It is
Wait till we
packed.
make this left right here. I think we made a
Is
left.
it like this every weekend?
no every day.
Every day? Oh, wow.
Look at this, family.
Only Sunday.
And he's saying it's like this every day except Sunday.
It's a one-in-a-lifetime experience.
The one
This is what you
thing
call
in
Ghana, ladies and
researching,
gentlemen. It's
I'm
a
gonna let that play.
one-in-a-lifetime experience.
And some things researching a lot of African countries, what I realized is that even when I was researching like Nigeria, there's a lot of traffic and there's a lot of people walking through traffic, cross traffic, in traffic, whether it be on a bridge. I mean, it's just totally different than how we run our society. Okay. And I was just surprised because, you know, I'm just an ignorant American. Before you go over there, I read a lot of things, saw a lot of videos, talked to a lot of people, but not until you actually go over there. All right. Back on these pictures real quick. All right. So this is where Kwame Nkrumah was buried beside his second wife, who was Egyptian. Okay. This is Kwame Nkrumah. This is his memorial, which the Chinese bought. With the Chinese built for absolutely free, paying homage to Kwame Nkrumah because of the connection he made with the president at the time. Here it is. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah with Chairman Mao Tse-tung of China, November 1961, 1 year after he became president. Okay. I'm not going to butcher this name, but Kwame Nkrumah with Sir Alec Douglas Home, the British Home Secretary who later became the Prime Minister of Great Britain. Here's Kwame Nkrumah with JFK. I don't know if you guys knew that. I didn't. I did a brief overview of Kwame Nkrumah. I knew what he stood for, essentially, and what he was trying to do. This is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah receiving a Peace Award on 5th of August, 1955. Okay. That plays into context because he was actually in jail, I believe, in 1951. This is Kwame Nkrumah and the UN secretary at the time. Kwame Nkrumah is awarded the Order of Polish Restitution in Warsaw, Poland. So some high extinguisher on award from Poland. This is Kwame Nkrumah, of course, with Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Kent, Princess Marina, and this was in 1957. This is actually the prime minister at the time of Sri Lanka, this lady to his left, or my left, his right. Again, this is the prime minister, I believe. Give me a second. Yep, prime minister of Malaysia. So he met with a lot of, people from around the world, and he was trying to make Ghana a better place through his experience and information. Of course, this is Muhammad Ali, also known as Cassius Clay. He was over there in Accra in 1964. This is him getting a degree. I can't make out. I know you guys can probably read it. I forgot this picture here, but I'm going to try to read the low print here. I was taking pictures very quickly because my camera accidentally went off in this place where you don't supposed to. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, Prime Minister of Ghana, in recognition of his leadership, dynamic nationalism, and self-denial, which have made possible the emergence of our fatherland into an independent state. Okay, that was back in 1958. Here's Kwame Nkrumah awarded a special citation by Dr. Roy Nicholas of the University of Pennsylvania. And this is unfortunately when he passed away, and that's his burial casket. Okay, they have President Fidel Castro paying his last respect at the funeral of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Like, everybody paid respect to this guy. I mean, I learned that when I was in Ghana. I didn't know he was that popular, right? He did a lot of, great things through networking, through friendship, through Allah. He was worldly loved. It says, see the people around him, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and Madam Faitha Posa with Prime Minister and Chinese Foreign Minister. So again, I told you guys, he made a good relationship at the time with China prior to modern day China trying to, they already control the economics of Ghana, believe it or not. That's just, if you guys are Ghanaians or people who know of Ghanaians, just ask them. They control the economics. I mean, a lot of the foreigners, but the Chinese now of today are not what I believe the Chinese of then, because he built a really strong relationship. Here, see here, the Flagstaff House of Ghana. Can't make out what that is. All these are pictures of Kwame Nkrumah. It says sworn in as the first president of Ghana. We went through that one already. All right. Yeah, we went through some of these already, family. So I won't bore you with that. So I'm just going to keep moving. Some of the places here that we went. This is our son riding his first horse, right? Negotiating prices. Me and my wife here, standing. Yeah. One thing I found out too, and I told you about this, family. My wife and I were always on our nutrition and working out, but our problem is we love food. And like I told you guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I look at my pictures, I'm like, I need to lose around 50 pounds. Okay. That's just me. I know what I need to be. I don't play football no more. I haven't played football in quite some time. So I shouldn't look like an overweight football player. Sometimes I just keep it too real, don't I? Man, I tell you. But anyway, let me show you this quick clip.
We are in a safari where the monkeys are just coming up and grabbing food.
We went to this little mini safari.
Oh,
this was
wow.
an experience.
They He's surrounding us. This is a big one.
Yeah, he's coming.
You better watch your back,
And
baby.
for you guys just tuning in, this is a day in Ghana recap.
Oh, wow, he snatched
So I'm going
that
through
joint.
pretty much everything that we experienced in Ghana in little short snippets here. So you guys are familiar with this one. That was a really good time. Okay. We went through the monkey, so that we went climbing up on this mountain. Okay, you know, I love the kids, so you got to help the kids out, or they might just, you know. And hear me acting like I'm a 185-pound military man like I used to be. I haven't been here for quite some time. Nope. Won't do it. That's why I know I've been. Here's my lovely wife doing push-ups in these little shaved off spot that the native Ghanaians used to shave off the rock and somehow put it in a clay. They made clay with it for various purposes. And when you touch this spot on this rock, do you believe that it's not only smooth, but it also feels soft, which is weird. But anyway, that's all those circles you see. Here's my experience, and I didn't show you this before, guys. I was waiting for this video of walking through a Ghanaian supermarket, so to speak.
Currently, I'm in a Ghanaian grocery store. They're showing you some of the products. I'm in the toy aisle. If you know, you can hear the music. They play their music instead of this, whatever we play back in America. They have a lot of American.
Sorry for the spinning around on you guys.
Products from Ghana as well. They even got the pineapple Mentos. That's pretty cool.
And this is important because some people just think, hey, when you go to Africa, they don't have anything. No, they pretty much got everything we have. So the Pringles right there. Here's a supermarket.
Oh, they got these cocoa balls.
They got cocoa balls, guys.
Yeah, buddy.
Get your cocoa balls.
They got them cocoa balls.
They got the Looney Tunes.
Yes, sir. They got your favorite too. Corn flakes.
Yeah.
You want them frosted? Them zero flakes. That means they got zero flavor. That's what that means.
Zero flakes. I'm telling you. You know them joints nasty.
Oatmeal maybe?
That's oatmeal right there. Cream of wheat.
Porridge.
Yeah, cream of wheat.
That's probably porridge.
Oh yeah, porridge.
You see this food.
Yeah.
So essentially, family, they have, everything that you would need over there. If you decided that. Okay. Let's see what else. I wanted to show you this too, because again, when people travel, have you noticed they only show you the good? And of course, I'm gonna show you both sides of the pendulum. And this is just a drive through another part of Accra. And this kind of tells somewhat the story of how the city of Accra is. There's a portion of it that is well built, nice houses, infrastructure is great. You don't see the sewer like in other areas, but I'm gonna play some of this, and I want you to see how a lot of them unfortunately lives. And you're not going to see what me and my family saw, because I'm not going to display that here. I'm not going to put those videos on here. But during some of these drives we had, we would be looking left to right. We'd be stuck in traffic, and we can look over to our right. We can look over to our left, and we see grown men and women right in the open, not in the back alley, not beside a building. Like literally, here's the sewer drain that they usually have, somewhat of a sidewalk, and then people walking, right, or whatever. That people will just pull out their penis. A lady who had a really nice traditional dress on, opened up her dress and peed right there on the side of the road. It was stunning to me, because some of them were actually dressed well, but they were just peeing right there. And I was like, I guess that's cultural, right? I don't know. I really don't know. The reason why I say that is because when the Moors, the Africans, went up into Europe, went up into Spain, they actually told them how to create and make systems of sanitation. So I don't know where that's from, essentially. And this is us just driving through, and this is the traffic. Like, they just jump out in front of you, people walking in the street. And this is another part of Accra that a lot of times you don't really see when people show you Ghana. But family, I want you guys to get out and travel, have a great time. But I also want you to be aware, if I've been there first, I'm going to let you know. I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to inform you guys, hey, this is the good, this is the bad. This is the pretty, this is the ugly, right? And believe it or not, a lot of Ghana, which you see on the left and right, a lot of those trucks are owned by the Chinese, by the way, but you'll see a lot of construction materials, wood, timber, rocks. And I was asking the driver, I say, well, how long has some of this stuff, they look like they're doing a lot of infrastructure, like they're building up. That's the impression you get. He said, that's been there for 4 or 5 years. The way the median looks right there, he said, yeah, they've been working on that for 4 or 5 years. They'll come work on it, leave. I'm talking about, wait. It took them a medium in trying to build a road, and they still haven't built it yet. And it's been 4 or 5 years. He said, yes. So what you're saying is the firsthand look of Ghana. This is a part of Ghana. But when you guys look at other people's videos, I know what you see. You see a beautiful, inviting, exciting place with many different things. And this is what people are not showing. But right then and there, you see construction. They said, man, they've been working on that for 3 or 4 years. And what they're trying to do is improve the sewer system, so to speak, and then supposedly do the road. He said they've been working on this for years. Again, this is us just traveling through a part of Accra. Because I'm going to tell you the impression prior to going to Ghana, what I had. I thought Accra was going to be totally built up, right? Like any American city. Like there's a road everywhere. There's a street light in majority of the places, right? That's what I thought, because it's the capital city. It's not like Kumasi. And I think Kumasi is north of Ghana, north of Accra, if I'm not mistaken, maybe northwest or northeast, so to speak, or north central. But nonetheless, I thought that this city would be totally built up, but I was wrong. I mean, it is what it is. I was wrong. But I'm just showing you this whole entire time we're on a dirt road. And sometimes it goes back to pavement, as you see here. We're going back to pavement. And this is a part of Ghana that I guess most people really don't see. Okay. I'm just going to back off here a little bit. And that's a part of Ghana that people really don't see. Now, when we go to the built up part of Accra, all of the business, and I'm not exaggerating, family, all of the businesses that look like what you were saying, American standard, were owned by foreigners. Like this restaurant. It was a really good restaurant, right? Hold on, let me back up. This is my lovely wife in front of the restaurant, and this is our plate. So we had essentially, let me see, it was 5 of us, and this is supposed to feed 6 people. But when I really looked at it, this can feed 10 people, right? We got 3 3 sections of rice. You got fried rice, jollof rice, fried rice. You got 4 pizza slice, so essentially half a pizza. You got chicken, you got lamb, you got beef there. I mean, they got some kebab on a stick, and you got French fries. That was a lot of food, and majority of this food we gave to our Ghanaian driver because there was no way we can eat this food, but it was delicious. This was a Lebanese restaurant. Okay. And of course, we didn't have a chance to go inside the Marcus Garvey Guest Center because, he's essentially was over there as well. Okay. And I just took some pictures here to briefly show them. And this is once again at the Marcus Garvey Guest Center. Okay. This is the Accra Mall for you guys. They have a mall. They have a couple of malls, by the way, but they're not owned. They're not owned by Ghanaians. They're owned by the Indians. They're owned by the Chinese. They're owned by the Lebanese. And then, of course, I know we went over some of W.E.B. Du Bois' house because that's where he is actually laid to rest. I'll play some of this video right here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Currently, I'm in Accra, Ghana, at the W.
Let me know if you can't hear me. I'm actually talking.
Pan-African culture, and came inside the gate, right beyond that car. Just gonna do a quick span here. We're gonna try to go into this museum, see if this is open.
That's his house, which you just saw in the white. I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. This is inside the house, so I'm not gonna go through this again, but she goes the tour guide of W.E. Du Bois and his march and fight for Pan-Africanism, and essentially he wanted to return back to Africa and live there. And where we're having this tour is inside W.E.B. Du Bois' home. Okay, so again, I'm gonna speed this up some. As you can tell, I like to tape record a lot of things. I won't show you guys all of it because it will get tedious and boring over time. This is a library that they actually put in his home for people to come there and actually read.
Dr. Du Bois.
But he also has his private study. And I show some pictures here. He had pictures of Rosa Parks, Kwame Nkrumah. He had a lot of pictures here in his home. Okay. Because they made his home somewhat like a museum. This is a Pan-African flag that they had displayed in his home as well. Again, some pictures of the people who he had. And there was a book room, his own personal study, where these very, very old books. And of course, that's Gaddafi. Okay, he had him as well. So the way that America, and that's Patrice Lumumba, a lot of ways that America makes certain people from Africa look. During my, just reading history and research, and I never really studied Gaddafi, right? And a lot of us get torn in, Gaddafi is a dictator. And every time we hear dictator, we think of negativity. We think of negative. We think of bad, right? Because that's what has been essentially, stored inside of our brains, that dictatorships are wrong, that you need a republic, you need a democracy where you vote, and someone can't just stay in power for 10, 15, 20 years, because that's not the way we were taught, right? Because we have a constitution, Declaration of Independence, and how all these things are set up. But essentially, family, I look at a country like Rwanda, where, quote unquote, their president, Paul Kagame, is a dictator, right? Because he's been president for quite some time now. And this is that was a personal place where W.E. Du Bois Library was. But nonetheless, Rwanda is almost becoming, they're already considered a second-class country, believe it or not. And a lot of people believe they're coming very quickly to becoming a first world country. Rwanda, the little Rwanda, south of Rwanda, I believe, was Burundi. To the east, at the southeast is right there. They're right bordering Tanzania. They're bordering, I think, the Republic of Congo. North of Tanzania, I believe you have.
It's going to do a quick.
I could be. Oh, you have Uganda and you have Kenya.
This is open. That's my lovely family.
Okay. So it is surprises me sometimes that the information we receive from our government, it actually toys the way we view certain people that we've literally never done any research. We haven't even read about. And a lot of these pictures you see, family, are inside of W.E.B. Du Bois' home. Okay. And this building right here, family, which you see, is where W.E.B. Du Bois is actually buried. Okay. Just going to play some of this. Speed it up a little bit. We're inside of his home. Excuse me. We're inside of W.E. Du Bois' burial place. This is where he's actually buried. He's buried on his land, right adjacent from his home. Right, they're showing when they kind of gave him a military salute and just paying homage and respect to W.E.B. Du Bois. And this is actually where he's buried, supposedly. Okay. And she gives kind of a whole story of the building about, if you look at the roof of this particular burial spot where W.E. Du Bois is, the roof is designed like a web, W-E-B, web. And it also represents the connecting of African descended people throughout the world, U.S., Caribbean, Africa, UK, Australia, etc. So again, a lot of history here. We had an awesome time, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, we had an awesome time. And I'm going to show you a little bit more of Ghana as we're driving through. This is a very short clip. This is on our way to the Botanical Gardens. And what you'll notice is every building doesn't look up to what you would call American standard, right? Which is respectful, but it doesn't look very well built up. But if you look at this church is built up. And every church I looked at, never mind. But you know what I'm getting at.
Church is fully intact, all the windows.
So yeah, I said the church is fully intact. Every other place around the church was in shambles, okay? But the church was well intact. And unfortunately, because of that 80% of Ghanaians are Christians, a lot of their money, they give their so-called tithes and offerings. I told you, some of the richest people in Ghana, the 3 richest people in Ghana, right, are foreigners, the government, and church ministers and pastors. The one who owns a church and, preaching, they're the richest people in Ghana. And of course, you got Ghanaian businessmen, but I'm talking about the richest groups are foreigners, the government, and people who run churches. Richest people. Here's a video that I took the last evening before we flew out, and I'm right across the street, essentially, from the airport.
Hey guys, right now I'm in Accra, Ghana, right across the street from the airport, and those were my fingers. Just want to show you the airport over there, traffic really quickly. I don't want people to look.
And of course, this is on the side that's built up, and all of what you see is owned by foreigners.
Mall, which Ghanaians do not own. I think the Lebanese owns this mall. But nonetheless, again, I'm across the street from the Kayora airport. Look at the letters right behind.
I was trying to zoom in on the airport, but nonetheless,
hey guys, right now I'm in.
That was my trip in Ghana, guys. I know a lot of stuff I omitted because I went over before. I'm just going to mention 2 more things, and then I'm going to read some of your comments here. Now, first and foremost, I built my own computer. I'm actually using that computer now. I built my own computer. And for you guys who are familiar with computers, and this is a one-off. I'll be right back on topic, guys. Stay with me. This is a Asus ROG Maximus Hero 2 motherboard, and I have an Intel i9 10908K chip, and I have a Asus AMG Radeon Tough Gaming GPU graphics card. You see the 750 PSU power supply unit with the Corsair, and I have a Corsair cooling unit going to my GPU, and I have 2 sticks of 16 gigabytes of RAM, and that board can actually hold 128. So just to give you some reference, but my computer run flawlessly, and you see all the RGB. And the shell is white, while some of the interior, as you see, is black. And I was telling my wife this: my car is all white with black interior, so I made it kind of replicating my car. But anyway, I built a computer. It's not hard, believe me. And last but not least, this is a picture of me because I just came back. Okay, I just came back from winning a poker tournament. Okay, I've only played poker for less than a year, around 9 months. With this group of guys, is anywhere from 8 to 14. I think this evening was 8 people, and this is my first win. I took away, a little bit of cash. It's for fun. It's not, it's not over $500, but it's good. You pay like $25. They order food. All of us are a group of guys to get together, and then in May we're actually going fishing. I don't know how to fish, but nonetheless, that's my trip in Ghana. That's my last couple of days. Let me read some of your notes. I see we got Brent C. He said it was the same as Thailand, built up in poor areas. Yeah. And in America, don't get me wrong, we have poor areas too, but even our poor areas are built up. Right. I'm from Washington, D.C. You go to the ghettos in Washington, D.C., not all the ghettos look up to par, right? But there's no sheet metal buildings, right? All of our buildings are by mortar. They are by drywall, etc., brick, stone, something, right? They were literally just sheet metal, a lot of them, unfortunately. But they have a lot of concrete. I've seen a lot of incomplete buildings in Ghana, a lot of incomplete homes, all made out of cinder blocks, made out of cement. And they would say, well, when you're building a home, you have to pay cash. You can't get a loan from the bank like in America. Okay. So a lot of them will save up their money, but they won't to acquire the land. And then they'll start to build their structure. He said, for most Ghanaians who are not rich, it takes them 2 to 5 years to save up the money so they can buy the land and build a home. So every time they get money, they give it to the contractor, and the contractor do a little bit more. They build the foundation and they build the walls, and you give them a little bit more money. So they're just coming out doing small jobs the entire time because they cannot loan from the bank like we can in America. That was very different for me, because when I'm telling you, family, there was a lot of incomplete homes and buildings and walls where you can see they started construction. They started to build a house and it would just stop. It was all over Accra, all over. I mean, as a matter of fact, all over Ghana, because we went to Cape Coast and all of those other places, but it was all over Ghana that these places were absolutely empty. So for a lot of you who want to move and visit Africa, believe me, you can quite frankly go over here with some of the equity. Once you sold your home, you got like $100 grand, go ahead and build your house. Okay. But hopefully you got some sort of residual income, because if you exercise the right to abode act, okay, meaning that they'll give you dual citizenship, there's a criteria for you to exercise that right to abode act. First and foremost, they're going to check your financials. They're going to make sure that you have money to support yourself while you live and be a dual citizen of Ghana. Meaning, do you have money coming in every 2 weeks, every month, or at least every year? And then they balance that off the cost of living to make sure that you can essentially live there. So that's important. And it ain't just come on back to Africa and we'll take care of you. Oh, no. You better go with money. You better go with the bag. You better go with some Skrilla before you go, because they're not taking poor people. They have enough. I get it. Majority of African countries, when you're trying to be a resident there, you're trying to be a dual citizen there, you have to show your financials. They're not just accepting you back because you're black. Oh, no. Which leads me into the door of return. How can I enter the door of return if you don't have a bag? There's something to think about, family. There's something to think about. Brent C., I appreciate the offering, my brother. I appreciate the donation. I do appreciate that. Thank you. And if anybody knows, anytime this channel gets donations, it goes to my equipment. Without you guys' support, without you guys viewing me, I cannot afford some of the things that I'm trying to do to make the content even better. Okay. As you notice, I always try to change every now and again, but make sure the equipment is working flawlessly. D General says, what about the crime in Ghana? Where there are the rich, around the corner is the poor. Now, that last statement is true. They go hand in hand. Like, you know, you can go around one corner and it's poor, you go around another corner is rich. That's absolutely true. The crime in Ghana. Well, if it's crime, it's petty crimes, right? And I do so, and I will tell you this, believe it or not, other than the tribalism there, they also have where they believe the Rastafarians, right? There's some Ghanaians who are Rastafarians, right? And there's also Jamaicans over there that essentially live that are Rastafarians. And anytime a crime occurs, this is what I was told by a couple of people. I'm not lying. By my driver, who is a very honest man, what I believe, and other people I speak to, when a crime occurs in certain places, they go and jack up and question some of the Rastafarians. Because essentially, you know, a lot of Jamaicans, being a Rastafarian is a religion. But nonetheless, I digress. Okay. But as far as the crime, first and foremost, the Ghanaian people are some of the nicest, sweetest people I've ever interacted with. I mean, even the ones who were living in slums. We was up and down poor areas all day. Of course, we saw a couple of arguments, but it was nothing really like aggressive. But most people was working. They was on their way from work, coming back from work, going to school, coming back from school. That's what we saw. And people selling things everywhere. People were selling things in the street everywhere. Now, for me, I'm gonna be real with you. It was chaotic in the streets, right? Especially at certain junctures, right? In intersections. It'd be a major road and people are walking up and down the road selling stuff. There's motorbikes going in between cars, on the side of cars, and then they'll go even laterally to go to the other medium, to go across the street, to go the other way. I'm like, wow, right? But that's how they drive over there. But as far as crime, my brother, I don't have, I really can't, I mean, other than what you may research statistically, I just didn't witness or heard of any crimes. I just know that the infrastructure, the government needs to do a lot better than that, because again, talking to the people, certain groups going there, mine for gold, make a contract, quote unquote, allegedly with the government, and they fatten their pockets. And they were stating how some of the parliament members, the government officials, don't even live in Ghana. They live in Europe. And then anytime they have, like, you know, a conference, a meeting, something like that, they fly back to Ghana. But as far as crime, I would definitely say that Ghana is a safe country. I would definitely say that. I would go off on a limb and say that. But just like any other country, which essentially you can call states, countries in America, there's more states in America with a higher crime rate, right? But in certain parts of that state is very safe. But as far as me traveling around, didn't have no issues at all. Very welcoming, so to speak, humble, nice people. Now, somebody else can go over there and get their head bashed in. I'm only giving you my experience. But that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed the recap of my day in Ghana. And again, next year, or maybe later on this year, because my wife was looking at plane tickets, we want to visit Rwanda and Uganda and Tanzania, right? But at least Rwanda, okay? But, you know, it depends on where we're flying in at. She was talking about flying into Uganda, spend 4 or 5 days there, either fly or drive into Rwanda, take, you know, four days there, and then drive into, fly into Tanzania, because we want to stay in the capital cities, instead of going to some little side, village or something like that. We're just going to stay in the capital city and see a lot of things what they have to offer. And we know that within those cities, they have different sections. So we kind of want to drive around and see, right? So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with me as long as you have. I see one more comment here. Oh, he said, where else do I plan to go in Africa? So again, planning to go to Rwanda, and we definitely going to travel to South Africa. And believe me, if you stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. You will know when I travel. But other than that, we're going to do financial information. We're going to we're going to talk about politics and other important topics. But for the most part, we know that everything leads back to money. This is Financial Literacy 101. Learn money and be inspired. And when you get an opportunity, family, don't blow your money. Don't spend your money on worthless things. Either invest your money or experience your money and travel. I'm out.